Okay, Sys- systematic lupus erythematosus. System what is systematic lupus erythematosus? Well, we'll break it down. Systemic systemic basically means affects multiple organs within our bodies. And then we have erythematosus. What does it stand for? Well, basically erythematosis is reddening of the skin, which we usually get when our skin is irritated. And then next we have lupus. The Latin word lupus is a Latin word for wolf. But in the modern day, lupus means disease affecting the skin. And because most of the abrasions on the skin looks like wolf bites, that is why I got the word lupus. So basically it's like disease affecting the skin that looks like wolf bite. Okay, so systematic lupus erythematosus. How does lupus affect the body? So usually our immune system protects the tissues from invaders. So we basically have these three minions or green creatures that represent our immune system. And we know that our immune system protects the tissues from invaders. But lupus being an autoimmune disease, means that the immune cell starts to attack the very tissue that it's supposed to protect us from invaders. So basically, instead of our immune system protecting it from invaders, they start to attack our own cells or our own tissues. Okay, so systemic lupus erythematosus. So we'll go back and see what systemic stands for. As we already discussed, systemic is an autoimmune disease, which means it affects any tissues and any organs within our body. So let's set up a scenario. This person, Penny Proud, has a susceptibility genes that makes her susceptible to getting lupus. So it's in her genes. So let's say Penny goes out for a little stroll. She forgets her sunscreen. So when she's then exposed to UV radiation. Along with that, her DNA is also exposed to UV radiation, and the DNA within her cells become damaged, exposing the inside of the cell, including the nucleus, to the rest of the body. What are symptoms of lupus? One of the huge symptoms of lupus is called malar rash, and it usually is at the bridge of the nose and under the cheekbone, and it looks like a butterfly. So it got the name butterfly rash. The name is derived from the Latin word mala, which means cheekbone. And it appears after sun exposure. Again, sun plays a huge role in the symptoms of lupus. UV radiation usually affects the symptoms of lupus. And basically, malaria rash sometimes it will destroy the skin's ability to make melanin. That's why mostly people who has the rash after their skin is like different color from the bridge of their nose. It can be mild or severe, but it's usually not painful. Okay, symptoms of lupus and the rest of the body. First we'll talk about how lupus affects the brain. So with the brain, how lupus affects the brain. So basically with the brain, you'll usually have headaches memory loss, and there will be confusion. And then with the stomach, you have nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and bladder infection. And then with the heart and the lungs, there's usually shortness of breath, and there will be some pain in the chest. And then with the fingers and the toes, they usually turn white or blue when exposed to cold or during stressful situations. And along with this, most people with lupus will also have some form of arthritis, which makes it very painful for them to move around. Okay, protein affecting lupus. So osteopotin osteopotin is a pro is a protein that is important for tissue in the context of inflammation. And it's also known as OPN, and it has been recently linked or have been identified as having a role in the development of autoimmune diseases such as lupus. And although the word osteo stands for bones, because usually this protein is used to heal bones, but this protein has been expressed in tissues or has been expressed excessively in tissues because of lupus. So osteopotin. Let's learn more about this protein. So basically, this is like a flat 3D protein structure of osteopotin, as seen here. So basically, with osteopotin, upon binding, the integrated receptors introduce a number of immune cells, and then uses several signal transaction pathways to leak immune responses. And many autoimmune disease caused by this protein is due to missing exons. So caring for lupus. At this moment, there is no cure for lupus, but it's good to take care of your skin and consult your doctors for cream to relieve skin symptoms. And then one with disease should eat healthy and exercise, practice good sun protection. And there has been a scientific study, CARE, a non-toxic therapy that uses synthetic peptides. That uses synthetic peptides, small bits of protein that generates T cells, and these T cells help block and reduce auto antibody production to almost baseline level. And there is still an active research going on to see if this non-toxic therapy can put lupus in remission for good. But most importantly, it is best with any other disease as well as lupus to know your symptoms.